We're driving the refreshed 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz. There is a bed out back, but you'd never know that from here.
Here's how much the Santa Cruz costs.
The 2025 updates start inside. They ditched the former kind of waterfall look, and now we have a more traditional kind of horizontal arrangement, and I think it looks better and is also more functional.
This huge space for storing items like a phone or your sunglasses. It's made out of a grippy material and has a nice lip on it so things don't shift around too much.
Another update, we've got a new steering wheel. So they've ditched the old Hyundai logo, and now we've just got 4 dots, which is Morse code for H. H as in Hyundai.
Thought it stood for hottie.
Well, it depends on if you're talking about the car or me.
I'm here.
You're right to be bothered by that, kiddo. To remove any question in your mind, yes, this is a Hyundai Tucson, which is also recently updated for 2025, and we reviewed it recently, but with a bed on the back. Unlike the Tucson, though, which in some trims got a column shifter, which opens up this space here to have a little wireless charging pad, all Santa Cruzes have this big physical drive selector.
We do still have wireless charging, though.
And we've got a very generous phone zone with adjacent power ports, and then a decent-sized center console area.
In the doors, we have generous sauce pockets as well as bottle storage, but very narrow bottle.
And at a jaunty angle, so make sure you got a properly sealed top.
Oh, so I can't get Starbucks and a Frappuccino with no top?
You can use the center armrest cup holder, although it is small, so you'll have to get a tiny kiddo-sized beverage.
That rear center armrest, by the way, new for 2025. One more quick lap around the instrument panel. Previous high trims, we would get this capacitive interface. So now we have physical knobs, and then we do have a few capacitive controls, like for the seat area here. They're responsive enough that I do not mind their presence. Moving to the seats, on the base trim you have cloth, on the highest trim you have leather, and in between you have leatherette. I find this to be comfortable and pressure point free. Plenty of adjustment over here on the driver's side.
I only have manual adjustment, but I still find it comfortable.
Oddly, unlike the Tucson, the Santa Cruz's twin, we do not have available memory function for the seats. Seated behind my ideal front seat position, there is just enough clearance for my knees, but great foot clearance, plenty of headspace, and I also fit surprisingly well in that middle position. Kiddo, how do you find the middle spot?
Surprisingly, the middle is the preferred spot for me.
The center hump kind of comes up just enough to meet your feet, whereas it's on the outboard position. With slightly longer legs, you'd be a little more comfortable. What about climbing in and out of the Santa Cruz?
First, you have to tell me if you're talking about with the door or in the bed.
Thank you for the segue, kiddo. We'll start with door.
It's easy for me. I don't really have to pull myself in.
Tell me more about the bed.
The bed's also pretty low.
Because it's based on a compact SUV design, the bed is really low, so you can slide things in with great ease, and you can also step into the bed without much issue. We've got those standard corner steps. You got a little step in the middle when the tailgate is up.
For someone of my height, this is a much more usable truck.
The bed sides are low enough that you can reach over the side and just pull things out. It's a very, very functional space, but it is a small space. This is very much a compact pickup truck.
And I really appreciate that locking tonneau cover. Grocery shopping, whatever you need, you can cover it and secure it.
If you get the SEL activity trim and higher, then you get that sliding tonneau cover. You also get a 115 volt outlet, sliding rear glass, and you also get that utility track system so you can tie things down more conveniently. Even without that stuff, it's still a functional bed. Tie down points on the corners. Got a really cool underfloor area.
I was impressed by how generous that space was. And it's also got a drain in it in case you want to fill it with ice.
For supplemental storage inside the cabin, you can flip the rear seat bottoms up. And as long as we're still in the back seat, I'll point out that we have rear vents, which come on everything but the base trim. And we also have standard dual USB-C ports. From a functionality standpoint, if you're trying to haul big loads, this is not the truck for you, though I suspect the Santa Cruz's capabilities are better aligned with the needs of actual truck buyers than more truck buyers would care to admit. Are you a gardener? Do you have a bicycle? Do you just want someplace to put dirty stuff that you don't want inside your car? Maybe you want a Santa Cruz. What about the latch situation, sweetie?
There are lower anchors on the outboard positions. They are kind of nestled in, but I was able to snap our booster in. I also think there would be room for a small rear-facing car seat.
Moving to safety, the IIHS has named the Santa Cruz a top safety pick. It is 5 stars overall rated from the NHTSA. We have 8 airbags standard, along with a complete suite of active driver assist standard. Family, what do we think? Is the Hyundai Santa Cruz family friendly?
Small family friendly.
Rear window test. All the way down. 5, boop. What is the space you're making? Armrest test, driving in a comfortable 8 and 4, easy access to the inboard and outboard armrests. Both armrests are soft, although I think it's a little bit too grippy on the inboard. It kind of catches my elbow skin a little bit more than I would prefer. I'll go 85% outboard, 75% inboard. Moving onward to style. Quick refresher, the Hyundai Santa Cruz is only offered, unlike many pickup trucks, one body style, one bed size. We're driving the XRT trim, but here's what the basic Santa Cruz looks like. You'll notice there's been some updates for 2025, new fascia, some new wheel designs. That grille shape is different. They've tried to make it a little less sleek and a little bit more blocky, so it gives that aura of toughness and functionality. If you look at this Santa Cruz by itself, it's like, it hasn't changed, but when you do the side-by-side, yeah, it does look a little bit different.
This is one of those designs that doesn't look like it should work, like when you look at how sleek the front is and the fact that there's a bed on the back, but somehow it works. I think the body cladding brings it all together.
Speaking of body cladding, we're driving the XRT trim. That's the rugged version. In 2024, the XRT trim looked just like the rest of the Santa Cruz lineup. For 2025, it's far more distinct. It's unique front fascia here. These big orangey tow hooks are really the prominent conversation piece, but also this redesigned fascia offers a slightly better approach angle, though I'm a little concerned about this material down here. We already have some scratches, and I'm not sure how robust this is going to be with like real off-roading. We have actual all-terrain tires, and then this wheel design is inspired by, if you guessed wrenches, you were correct, XRT specific body cladding. There's also a unique rear fascia for the XRT. And then of course there's also the Flying Eyes integration, where normally I would talk about what I'm wearing, but check this out. This is a brand new product from Flying Eyes. This is called the Cassowary, and it's made specifically for people who ride bikes. Here, check this out. Super thin temples, just like all Flying Eyes, adjustable nose pads here, and these lenses are super easy to swap out. Aesthetically, these would make more sense if I was on a bicycle right now, but whether you're a road biker or maybe a mountain biker like I am, these are very, very comfortable and ideal for seeing where you're going on a bicycle. If you'd like to learn more about Flying Eyes, click the link in the description below, and you can save 10% if you use the promo code Micah. Quasi pickup trucks derived from SUV type things, let's say Subaru Baja. This is among the least weird versions. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Tell us in the comments section. Also, thank you for supporting our channel. Like, subscribe, I don't know, just watch a video. Thank you however you support us. Moving onward to In Motion. The title of this video notes that the Santa Cruz is the truck for people who don't like trucks, and man, that really comes to play when you drive the thing. All of the qualities that you expect from a truck are not present here. There's no live axle bounciness because there's no live axle. Quiet in here, even on the freeway. And ride quality, it's controlled, but also very comfortable. By dynamic disposition, this is not trying to convince you of how tough it is. It is fine being refined. It has a balanced steering ratio of 14.2 to 1. Responsive steering, but how it handles is really impressive. It sticks and tracks in a way that is very untruck-like in the corners, almost approaching sporty. You would be hard-pressed to find anything that handles better than a Santa Cruz with a bed on the back. The version we have has the 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, which is the more powerful choice. I'm gonna floor it right now. It'll give you the downshift you need quickly and fling your phone into your wife's legs. Lap. The engine is paired with an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, and in normal operation, the shifts are almost imperceptible other than by sound. The 2.5 liter with the dual clutch is the only one that gets these paddle shifters. And then third, downshift to second. That's pretty quick. I think the biggest use case is probably to do a little bit of engine braking when you're coming down a hill. Now, the other thing I want to check out is at slow speed, can it come to a smooth stop? Nope. Awkward. Okay, this is where DCTs sometimes struggle, trying to come to a smooth stop, and then it's like, oh, it's time to creep because I'm going like 1 mile an hour, and then that kicks in, and then you have to kind of quickly adjust your brake pressure. Consequently, it's very hard to come to a smooth limo stop. Oh, we do have a couple of drive modes to work with. Smart normally just figures it out. We have a sport mode and a snow mode, and then normal. One thing we don't have is an off-road mode, which leads us to the XRT previously was no more capable than the rest of the Santa Fe lineup. I said Santa Fe, I meant Santa Cruz. That's going to happen probably more frequently in the video.
It's so hard to keep them straight. Why is that?
Because they got the same word at the beginning. Also, now I'm like, how many times have we said Santa Fe instead of Santa Cruz throughout the video?
I don't know. We do know they are different vehicles. We are also humans who make mistakes.
True. So we took the Santa Cruz, which is now somewhat more capable off-road in the XRT trim, and took it off on one of our little trails. With no off-road mode, I thought, well, maybe it's not going to be that great. But we do have a couple of things work in our favor. One, 8.6 inches of ground clearance, and that's the same for every Santa Cruz trim. However, the XRT now has all-terrain tires, which does give it a little bit more capability. The Santa Cruz has this little lock button here, and that evenly apportions power between the front and rear tires. We've developed somewhat of a test. It's like a modest traction challenge. With that lock button pressed and just leaving it in the smart mode, it was able to apply the brakes to the spinning tires well enough to like get us up that hill.
And even more quickly than in the Subaru.
I also noticed that under our XRT trim, there is some underbody protection for the engine and transmission area, which gives me a little bit of extra confidence, though the plastic fuel tank is completely unprotected. So make good choices if you're going off-road, especially because the only spare tire is that little temporary spare. I don't know if that's getting you back home if you slash a tire in nature. That's what I think about driving the Santa Cruz. What does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel. At your leisure, the haul that direction.
Great thing I have this big bed for hauling. That was speedy. I would have a lot of confidence getting out ahead of traffic in this.
If you didn't know there was a bed back there, would you ever suspect there was a bed back there?
No, I don't normally notice the nuance in the way vehicles drive the way you do, but even I noted that this does not feel like driving a truck around.
What about visibility? Any issues?
Over my right shoulder, the belt line is high and there's a really thick pillar there. So I'm really glad our version includes the surround view monitor.
Yes, and also blind spot warning does come standard through the Santa Cruz lineup. If I suddenly decided that we have to have a vehicle with a bed in our lives, are there any game killers that would keep you from driving a Hyundai Santa Cruz?
No game killers here, and in fact, because of its low height, this would be the one I would want.
Strong praise. All right, I'm getting back in the driver's seat. In total, the Santa Cruz cannot compete with mainstream trucky abilities, but for gently trucking without trucky driving, oh God, I'm saying truck too many times. I'm making another run at it. For gently trucking with zero trucky on-road disposition, the Santa Cruz is killer. Whew. Moving onward to remarks. This is new for 2025. We have a standard 12.3-inch screen here. Super easy to use, some color coordination, which is nice. And it's placed under this single pane. We also have the optional 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster over on the left side. Though I'll point out that the basic trim, you'll read it and it'll say like it's a 4.2-inch display, and it really isn't because it's surrounded by this TFT display for the tachometer and the speedometer. And I think that display looks great.
The infotainment system also comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone connectivity wireless.
We've got the optional 360-degree screen, good visibility with a forward camera, which I really wish we had in our Bronco, and then the 360-degree visualization is kind of fun to spin around, and it does give you a good sense of what's around you, maybe for a pre-departure checklist. Anything we're going to run over? No? Great. So encapsulating the Santa Cruz's changes for 2025, we have a refreshed exterior, we have a range of interior updates that make it more functional and more appealing visually, we have larger screens, and we have a new tow mode for the 2.5-liter engine. Oh, and then inexplicably, even though the engines have not changed for 2025, highway fuel economy has gotten better for the base engine for some reason. Speaking of the engine, let's take a look under the hood in a test inspired by my buddy Brian. Here's how you open the hood on a Hyundai Santa Cruz. That hood is kind of heavy. Here's where you check the engine oil. If you'd like to add engine oil, you got to remove this little cover. And then over there on the left side, that's where you add the washer fluid. And if you're wondering what the Santa Cruz horn sounds like, all right, let's talk engine choices. The base engine is a 2.5-liter four-cylinder naturally aspirated, paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Move to higher trims and you get a turbocharged version of that engine that comes with an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission and all-wheel drive standard. With either engine, regular fuel is fine, and if you want to tow, it's 3,500 pounds unless you move up to the SEL Activity all-wheel drive, in which case it moves up to 5,000 pounds, which also applies to the turbocharged engine.
Sweetie,
Yeah.
will you please share our trim recommendation?
Oh, that time has come. Our trim recommendation is which Santa Cruz trim will give you the essential features you would regret not getting but at the lowest possible price. The base SE trim includes that 12.3-inch infotainment system, smart key access, adaptive cruise control, and all the essentials. But if it were us, we'd spend an extra $1,700 to go up one trim to the SEL, which adds heated front seats, an 8-way power driver's seat, leatherette seating surfaces, dual-zone automatic climate control, rear console-mounted AC vents. It's a great upgrade for a reasonable price. And as a reminder, all-wheel drive is only $1,500, so that's a no-brainer for many buyers, including us. If you're ready to buy a Santa Cruz of your very own, click the Kelley Blue Book pricing link in the description below to learn what you can get for your car on trade-in or what you should spend on a Hyundai Santa Cruz. As for competitors, the most direct one is the Ford Maverick. If you're looking for a little bit more space, the Honda Ridgeline is worth looking at. If you want a proper mid-sized truck alternative, consider the Chevy Colorado or maybe the Toyota Tacoma. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comment section. And now it's our daughter's time to shine. Child, can you tell us what is your favorite feature in the Hyundai Santa Cruz?
I really like the barfy green color. It might seem kind of ugly to other people, but I really like it.
Kiddo, can I ask you, when you barf, does your barf have sparkles in it? Because if anybody did, it would be you.
Yeah, true. Unicorns, fairies.
Despite barf being your point of reference, Hyundai calls it Rockwood Green, which is also a fun name. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Hyundai Santa Cruz. May I have a 5 and a 5? And you, come get your high five. Bam! Now please enjoy our Hyundai Santa Cruz Synopsis Song, smartly generated by AI.
Big old pickup trucks lined up in a row. You'd be better off in something neat and small.
Santa Cruz.
Keep you comfy, that's all.